Listen, man, Trump, I think every day Trump just becomes more of a of the villain of every just a villain. Like Trump is just a villain. I mean, in so many different ways, but we'll get into it. Welcome to the political perspective. Um, I am Reggie, aka Speed and Bullet, and this is B, three explanation points. And always remember, if you are not political, you do not have a perspective. And like most things going on in the country right now, you should have a perspective because politics is really how the world operates. And you talk about the strings that are being pulled behind our back and all of the elites running the world and running the country. Uh, it gets no deeper than the first thing that I want to talk about, which is the release of the Epstein files, or
Oh
uh,
man,
the
that's
three
heavy. Yeah.
the 3.5 million documents that have been released, scrubbed, if you may,
Right.
but definitely released. And for our audience, uh, the Department of Justice was ordered through the Epstein Transparency Act to release all Epstein-related files and documents. So they had 30 days to release them, and they were not able to release all of the files. They said they needed to do some redactions and scrub them as I believe that they've done.
For
Uh,
sure.
However, this is the second document dump that they've had, and like I said, it's been 3.5 million pieces of documents related to Epstein, which I think that, and I don't know how cases go, but I mean, for it to be that many documents, like the sheer magnitude of Jeffrey Epstein's kind of reach and his associates and the layers, is just unbelievable. For those many documents to be tied to him. Um, so the first thing that most people notice is Donald Trump's name is mentioned over 1,800 times in the Epstein file. So if anybody had any questions about why Donald Trump didn't want these files to be released, I mean, I think he had 1,800 reasons why he really fought for these files not to be released, and really made statements threatening any Republican that supported the release of these files. And, full transparency, Donald Trump to this point has not been, charged with any wrongdoing, which I do think is kind of ridiculous in itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's that old kind of saying where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's
Mm-hmm. A
plenty of
lot of smoke.
smoke. Yeah, plenty of
Smoky
smoke.
as fuck.
Smoky as fuck. But Donald Trump is not the only celebrities that are mentioned in the Epstein files. A few other folks who are mentioned, Elon Musk is mentioned in the Epstein files in a very kind of a weird way.
Yes.
Elon Musk was communicating with Jeffrey Epstein, and it appeared that Epstein was trying to get Elon Musk to come to his house, and staged it as a possible UN meeting. And Elon Musk kind of like snapped on Epstein, like, I'm like the smartest guy in the world. What do I need with the UN? And not
He
really, not
didn't
really under.
he
Go
didn't
ahead, B.
understand that UN meant underage nude.
Right. That's what that meant until Jeffrey Epstein explicitly said that no one at this party is over the age of 25. Which was which was a pretty specific, um
Very specific.
specific idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, and those types of interactions is what you see that Jeffrey Epstein has so much influence and connection to all of these rich and powerful people. So Elon is mentioned in there. Bill Gates is mentioned in the B's already shaking his head. Bill Gates is
Bill going
mentioned.
out sad. Yeah.
Bill is going out sad. But Bill Gates has mentioned there was an email that Jeffrey Epstein apparently composed to himself, as a bit of like an apology letter to Bill Gates. But within this apology letter, he's apologizing for Bill Gates. Um, apparently contracting STD while sleeping with an underage, presumably young girl. But the more kind of ridiculous part of it is Bill Gates was trying to figure out a way to give his wife an antibiotic cocktail. So as for her not to know that he had um, contracted this STD and probably
It's
had
insane.
given it to his wife. Crazy, insane. Um, just moment to see these, these men having these types of conversations. But also, uh, Jeffrey Epstein allegedly told Bill Gates' wife that that was the plot or plan.
Yeah.
Um, and I mentioned Elon Musk and Bill Gates first and second because um, the type of influence that Jeffrey Epstein had, you see that at one point Bill Gates was the richest man in the world. Jeffrey Epstein and
Hmm.
him obviously buddies, and then Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. Him and Epstein are
Yes.
buddies. So Epstein had the type of pull that gets these types of has these types of connections, and the type of connections that that we see contributes to these types of really serious allegations and really serious things that to do with child molestation. And
Yeah.
it's really kind of crazy that nobody has been charged with a crime besides Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But there were oh, you got something, B?
No, no, no. Go ahead.
Oh, another thing that came out of the Epstein files was um, Jeffrey Epstein was banned for life from Xbox Live, which I thought was kind of like ridiculous. He was
I
banned for
didn't see
life
that. That's crazy.
for Xbox Live, apparently with harassment threats and abuse of other players. So I would love to be able to get the transcripts of what Jeffrey Epstein
I
was
was about to
saying in
say, do we know what it
the
was said? Because I didn't
that
see
that yeah,
this.
yeah
That's
that
crazy.
they haven't released. I don't know if if Xbox like saved the chats or whatever. I'm not sure how that worked, you know 20 years ago maybe. I'm not even sure. Maybe
Yeah.
this might have been like '09 or something like that. So but yeah, apparently he was kicked off of Xbox Live for life because of his harassment threats
The fuck
and
was he
abuse of
getting
other
on?
players. Like, what was he doing? Because you pretty
What
much
was
can
he
do anything on
saying?
these. Yes,
Right.
exactly. He's probably
Yeah, he
saying,
was
"How old are you? You want to
right.
come over?" Like some shit like that. Like just craziness.
Right. Like,
Craziness. Yeah. But um, some other folks who are currently in in Donald Trump's cabinet, you got Howard Lutnick, who works for the Trump administration, is mentioned in the Epstein files. You have RFK Jr., who works for the Trump administration. He's in the Epstein files. And there was some tip that Jeffrey Epstein may have tried to get RFK's wife killed at some point. So all kinds of crazy stuff. A couple other people that were in there, Jay Z is mentioned in the Epstein files as a
yeah,
handler of young women. Pusha T was mentioned in the Epstein files as a handler of young women, which I just thought both of their names seem out of place and
right,
extremely like odd, because you know you think about 15, 20 years ago, where was Jay-Z at in his career, and where was
right.
even Pusha T at in his
Pusha
career.
T at in his career, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you mix that with the people who are involved. We're talking about richest people in the world, heads of states, people like Prince Andrew. Um, people that have long money, um, family history money. It just seems kind of just out of place that Jay Z and Pusha T would be mentioned in there. Last person I have in there was George W. George Bush Senior, and
Yeah,
he's mentioned in there as apparently having raped a small boy on Epstein Island. So I mean, there's a few other things on there with those kind of like celebrities, but some of the things that were mentioned about Donald Trump is that that Trump had assaulted young women, sexually assaulted young women, were in orgies with young women, um, had roofied young women, um,
yeah.
had dealings with the Sinaloa cartel, you know, and just a myriad of all kinds of tips and accusations. Another thing that's interesting is that the FBI, with all these tips and accusations, has repeatedly said that none of these things can be and will be investigated.
Right.
Which I think is kind of tells you um, that they're saying that none of these things can be investigated. Like all of them can be investigated. How far it goes, but to say none of these things can be investigated, none of these claims, and yes, a lot of these are, tips and anonymous tips and things of that nature, and you have to take them with a grain of salt. But I think it should be the FBI's job to run back any anonymous tip to make sure that it's not something that's credible. But even there has been, on a few occasions that there have been not anonymous tips, but people that have made tips that they themselves have came forward and it wasn't anonymous. This was them. And one such case was that a person was interviewed by the FBI saying that they had direct knowledge that Donald Trump was given women by Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's
Yeah.
co-conspirator. But these things just haven't been just haven't been investigated. And this is Trump DOJ, so we know that they're not going to be investigated. So,
Which leads to what
uh,
I wanted to say. Hold on, real quick. Which leads to
yep, you
what I
got it.
wanted to. Which leads to what I wanted to say is like those things are heinous and disgusting. And I go back to Trump saying I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and
Ooh, ooh.
my supporters would support me. And I just go back to that. I don't see the motion where we care about him being a pedophile, or more appropriate term, I guess, is a phebophile. Um, how much do we think that that base cares? Because he was very much championing the release of the Epstein files, and now we have audio this week of Ted Cruz saying stop attacking pedophiles, which was insane for him to say.
Hmm.
So, as heinous as it sounds and as heinous as what could possibly be in the files, do we think that, like, are we that lost morally as a country, or are we that ingrained in MAGA and whatever that means, where we will, not me and you personally, or a lot of people that voted not for not that didn't vote for. I feel like some people that did actually vote for Donald Trump aren't on this fence, but are we that lost to where we won't focus on this enough?
I believe we are. I mean, I believe
I
that
agree with you, and that's the
we.
sad thing. Yeah,
It's very sad because you think that in moments like this, when it's something that is universally, like, just universally looked at as heinous, as disgusting, as horrible, um, and for Jeffrey Epstein to have an estimated over 1,000 victims, um, you would want every stone unturned, and you would
for
want every
sure.
lead investigated, because that pedophilia, child rape is something that you think everyone would agree, that would be something that everyone would agree on.
Universally.
Yeah, universally. But you said something that's very um important, is Trump predicted this. Like, Trump predicted that he could get away with anything, and
Yeah.
would not waver his support would not waver. And I think this is the perfect example of that. This is something that should cause pause for anyone that's a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And there's some
Yeah.
names that are missing from the Epstein files. Most notably, Barack Obama's name is not mentioned.
Right.
And if his name is mentioned, for somebody that may want to fact check this, his name is only mentioned in interviews where someone says, "I worked during the Obama
Obama
administration."
administration. Right.
Right. And also, uh, Joe Biden's name is not in the Epstein files. So it's not like this is just something you know, that everybody was involved in. This is a select group of people that were the highest of high, the
Hmm.
people that had the most influence in the country, and Donald Trump has been that person for a long time. So, I mean, it's just kind of horrible for the victims and horrible for us as a country and our kind of moral compass to really be able to like look at this and know that something's going on. But because people are so ingrained in their politics and ingrained in their cult like following of Donald Trump, that they're not even pausing and they're not wavering their support of him. So just horrible. And I just go back to it's only two people that have been convicted, and we're talking about decades of child rape, and only two people have been convicted, and but there have been so many people that have been implicated. It's
Thank you for watching this video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.